Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of The Racing Report. I am your host, Rob Peeters, and on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the remaining 2 races in the NASCAR playoffs. So the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series have 2 races to go before the Championship 4 coming up here in a couple of weeks. And we're going to take a look and see who we think might be the best picks to either win the championship or make it to that Championship 4. And then we had the Formula One United States Grand Prix happen over the course of this weekend, and it was a very interesting race from a number of different perspectives. And as for the points, we'll just have to wait and see how those go. So we'll talk about that later on in today's show. And then, of course, we've got news and notes and rumors and all the different kinds of things going on in the world of auto racing. So if you like this show, before we get into the news, I'm going to remind you guys that if you do like this show, please feel free to tell your friends about it and support the show. You can find me on social media at rpeeters33. That's RPEETERS 33. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, wherever you want to find me. Give me notes of your show, if you like it, or if you have any questions you want to ask. I'll even direct them right on this show. So let's go ahead and jump right on in to the news and notes of the week. So first of all, let's take a look here in the world of Formula One. So Formula One has officially announced in the new rules that have been agreed on by all the teams in the FIA to drop the fastest lap point. So previously you've gotten a bonus point if you've set the fastest lap during a Formula One Grand Prix weekend. Starting next year, that will no longer be the case. It will just be simply a ceremonial accomplishment, and you will no longer be rewarded a bonus point for scoring the fastest lap in a Grand Prix. And then some pretty big news, especially with the upcoming Mexico City Grand Prix this weekend. Pato O'Ward, IndyCar driver, IndyCar race winner, finished second in the Indy 500 this year. Believe me, a lot of fans have not forgotten about that. But he's going to be running free practice 1 for McLaren this weekend at the Mexico City Grand Prix. And it definitely looks like he's quite the popular person down there in Mexico. Almost makes sense given his nationality. Interesting note there. Maybe Mark Miles saying that Pato's not that famous. Anyway, and then the final piece of Formula One news here is the promoter of the United States Grand Prix has been fined over $500,000 due to the number of fans invading the track before all cars had returned to the pit lane at this weekend's USGP. On Sunday, the FIA noted that around 200 fans had made it onto the track before that time through an area that was not significantly policed. So we'll have to be monitoring that as we go along. Now into some IndyCar news, because Jamie Chadwick is apparently reporting focusing on a short IndyCar schedule for next year, maybe 5 to 7 races, rather than a full season of Indy Next. Now, the 26-year-old told Racer magazine, Racer.com, that she is ready to make the step up from Indy Next to IndyCar, because it's just, she feels like now's the time is right. She's had a lot of internal thought, external communication, some talking with a lot of people, and now she's decided that it is her time. Now's the time. Now's the time for her to go out there and try and go for an IndyCar season or make her IndyCar single-seater debut. She had that test at Barber. It went well, but it also kind of, let her know of some of the areas where she probably needed to work on. So we'll be interested to see. It'll be interesting to see where that goes, especially given the way the charter works. And if she was going to land a ride, it would be an unchartered entry, which means that there's the possibility of failing to qualify depending on what race you've entered. Could be a lot of different things going on. So, but we'll check back in. We'll see how that goes. Maybe Jamie can get some kind of a deal worked out where she does get to run some IndyCar next year. And then the final piece of IndyCar news here is that Racer is reporting that the Thermal Club is planning to sell general admission tickets for, get this, $450 a piece. So that would, I think, be for the entire weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. $450. Now this is down from last year. Now, last year, tickets were originally $2,000, general admission, $2,000 a piece. They eventually lowered that to $500, so slashed it about $1,500, and gave fans who purchased it at the original $2,000 price tag a $1,500 refund. But even then, $450 for general admission is going to be still probably pretty tough, given the fact that Long Beach will be right around the corner and in a much better part of Southern California. But I don't know. I still think that this race is just a holdover until next year with the Arlington Grand Prix. I think that's probably what it is, given the fact that it's supposed to take place. Arlington Grand Prix is supposed to take place in March 2026. This race is taking place in March, kind of late March 2025. I'm just putting two and two together, kind of connecting the dots here, if that makes any sense. So, we'll see how it goes. And then we got some IMSA news to talk about. We've got some silly season, I guess, because the IMSA season is over. We're shifting gears to the Daytona 24. Penske Porsche has announced their 2025 IMSA lineup. So the number 6 will be piloted by Mathieu Jaminet and Matt Campbell, which not really that different. I mean, basically they're swapping, I think, Tandy and Campbell in different cars. So then number 7 is going to be Felipe Nasr and Nick Tandy. Meanwhile, Lawrence Vanthoor and Kevin Estrie will join the team during the endurance races. And then there's three IMSA teams that announced their driver lineup for the next year. So the newly badged Cadillac Wayne Taylor Racing will field the number 10 with Ricky Taylor and Felipe Albuquerque, along with a number 40 car that will be driven by Jordan Taylor and Louis Delatraz. The endurance drivers for the team will be Brendan Hartley at Daytona. He'll only drive the number 10, so he'll drive with Ricky and Felipe. And then Kamui Kobayashi will drive also Daytona only. He'll be in the number 40 car. He'll be with Jordan Taylor and Louis Delatraz. But then they'll also be joined by Will Stevens and Alex Lynn. So Will Stevens, a former F1 guy, raced for Manor F1, and then Alex Lynn, a former Formula E guy. So some guys with single-seater experience, but also the majority of their time has been spent behind the wheel of a sports car as well. So good picks, if you want my opinion. I think those are good drivers to go with for this upcoming season. And then the Whelen Cadillac number 31 will be piloted by Jack Aitken, as well as veteran newcomer Earl Bamber. If you know Earl Bamber, he is a big name. He is a champion at Le Mans, at Daytona, in IMSA. He's a big name, and that's a good get for the Whelen Cadillac guys to bring him into the prototype field. So good for him. And then they've signed Frederick Vesti to race for the team during the endurance races. Now moving on to some supercars news. Mark Winterbottom is putting pause. He's pressing pause on his full-time driving career in supercars. So he announced that actually a couple days ago. Frosty had originally planned on running next year as his final full-time deal, but apparently Team 18 just up and replaced him with Anton De Pasquale, which happened a couple months ago. That news was already announced, but even then it kind of came as a surprise to old Frosty, because he was expecting to finish out 2026 full-time with the team and then move into the co-driver and endurance role with the team in 2027. In 2026, and that is now not happening. So interesting news there. Kind of curious to see, but he didn't rule out retirement. So he hasn't said he's fully retiring. He said if he could find a deal with some team for next year, he will take it. But it's got to be the right deal. It's got to be the right car. It's got to be the right time. And honestly, time's running out with the supercar silly season right now. So definitely be interesting to watch that as the season progresses and then well into next year. Now into some NASCAR news, the final segment of our news segment. Toyota Racing is rebranding itself to Toyota Gazoo Racing North America to better match the global Toyota GR brand. So if you're watching NASCAR and you start to notice them refer to the team as Toyota Gazoo Racing North America, that's why. It's not some crazy different thing. It's just bringing all the branding under one house. So they've been calling it Toyota GR, Toyota Gazoo Racing for quite some time now in the rest of the world. It's been Toyota Gazoo Racing for several years now. So this is not a big change, but definitely in the world of NASCAR it is. So, and then the next piece of news here is Team Amerivet, formerly known as the Money Team. If you remember Floyd Mayweather's old team, well, they sold that. The ownership changed hands. It's now Team Amerivet. They're reportedly planning a partial Cup schedule for next year. J-Ski appeared to post a press release from the team indicating that they planned a 15 to 17 race campaign next year. The team ran the Coca-Cola 600 in May, driving the number 50 Chevrolet with Ty Dillon. They finished 36th. Not last, but not great. They qualified 38th, I think. So, but Definitely interesting to note there. There's really been nobody else reporting this other than this press release that was on Jayski, and Jayski will post press releases because that's where most rumors come from. Jayski's still a rumor site primarily, but for the most part, everybody trusts Jayski. Jayski's been around for as long as it has been, so if you're not on jayski.com yet, I question and wonder how you get your NASCAR news, but hopefully it's from this show. And then cool news, some really cool news. If you remember Malcolm in the Middle, if you remember Frankie Muniz, he's been driving NASCAR the last couple of years, mainly in ARCA, and he also is a talented driver. He raced in the Toyota Atlantic Series back in the late 2000s. Before the series kind of folded. It was still kind of under Champ Car, but Champ Car had merged back into the Indy Racing League at this point, and it was all IndyCar. It was unified at that point. But Frankie Muniz still raced in it. Then quit after a while, couldn't find a team, and now he's racing in NASCAR again. And now the best news is he's going to race full time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series next year. It's for Rayum Brothers Racing in the number 33 Ford. Huge news. Frankie he's making it. He's making it, man. You think about actors having a ton of money. He really doesn't. He doesn't have as much money as maybe you might think he does, but he's got his name, he's got his brand that he can use, and he's using it to sell sponsorship. And now here he is. He's in the big time. He's going to race full time in trucks next year. And then for some Xfinity news before we take a break here. Ryan Ellis is going to move to DGM Racing from Alpha Prime. So he's been with Alpha Prime Racing for the last couple of seasons now. He announced he's going to move to DGM Racing next year in the Xfinity Series. And then William Sawalich, he's going to move to Joe Gibbs Racing starting next year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He's going to take over the number 18. So we know who's driving the Joe Gibbs, at least 3 of the Joe Gibbs racing cars in the Xfinity Series. It's going to be Brandon Jones, Taylor Gray, and William Sawalich. A 4th car TBD. Could it be a full-time guy? Maybe. Doubtful, though. It's probably going to be a rotating set of drivers again. Who knows who's going to get that ride? So we'll find out. But that's it for the news today. When we come back, we're going to talk about all of the races that happened this weekend in the world of auto racing, primarily the NASCAR races in Las Vegas, as well as the Formula One United States Grand Prix. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the Racing Report with Rob Peeters. Welcome back to the Racing Report with Rob Peeters, and today we are talking all things Vegas, baby. The Las Vegas races for the NASCAR Cup Series were this weekend. We'll start with the Cup Series. Boy, who saw that coming? Joey Logano with the spoiler coming in. And so last week we talked about it. Joey Logano was out of the playoffs. He had not made the playoffs. He was eliminated from the playoffs after the Roval. Then about an hour later, it comes out that Alex Bowman has been disqualified. And because he's disqualified, he's now out of the playoffs, and Joey Logano is in. So what does Joey Logano do? Well, he capitalizes on this in the most impressive way possible, goes out there, wins the race, wins a fuel mileage race. And keep in mind, this is something to really keep in mind here, is that Joey Logano has not had one of the better seasons all year for that team. He's had a good season, don't get me wrong. He's had a good season, but comparatively speaking, I think when the chase started, he was seated somewhere around in the 15th level, and it was not good. But now here he is. He's now going to contend for a championship. And I know everybody's even year Gano, even year. Yes, technically speaking, Joey Logano does go to the championship for almost every even year now. What would it say? 2018, he won the title. He didn't win in 2020, but he did go to the championship for. He won it again in 2022, and now he's going again in 2024. Can he win again? I don't know. But let me tell you something. That run to the finish, great. Classic NASCAR. It's why I think I'm frustrated in so much. If you want me to speak from a personal level here, I don't mind stage racing with the way the points are distributed, with the way the playoffs are, because I think the stage racing, the rewarding of stage points, helps create for a more consistent championship, a more consistent champion. Think about someone like Martin Truex Jr. in 2017. Dude dominated when it came to stage points and stage wins, and it paid dividends for him in the playoffs, and he ended up winning the championship for a number of reasons, but also because he had so many playoff points and stage points. So I don't hate them on that regard, but I do wish that we could go away with neutralizing the field at the end of one. It's one of those things where I really wish I could watch a NASCAR race really just play out, because that was such a great strategy, seeing Joey Logano kind of lift and coast in the corners and have Ryan Blaney, his teammate, who I think was a lap down, just literally push him down the backstretch to try and keep him from running out of fuel. I mean, that's just pure strategy. That's gamesmanship. That's what makes NASCAR fun to watch. And yes, it was a fuel mileage finish. Some people can say what they want to say about that, but at the end of the day, we had a pass for the lead within the last 15 laps when Joey Logano passed Daniel Suarez, and then we had a great run. I think if there was like 1 to 2 maybe laps more of that, like it was in Saturday's Xfinity race, that was the Am Better Health 302. If it was the South Point 402, I think maybe we could have had a different outcome there. But Christopher Bell, man, he pushed it. He pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and almost got there. And now he's motivated. I think he's going to go to Homestead now, really, really pushing. Because let's take a look at the points. Let me pull this up here. Let's pull up the point standings in the Cup Series right now. And I'm going to take a look right here. So right now we're looking at Joey Logano. Obviously, he is seeded number 1. He is going to the championship for no matter what. But Christopher Bell is hot behind him. If it's not for Joey Logano winning that, he is hands down seeded number 1. So he's got something to prove, and I think he could do it next week in Homestead. We'll talk about Homestead predictions a little bit later on in the show, but the guys that are facing elimination right now: Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott, which is really surprising because Chase Elliott's one of the most consistent guys ever. These guys all had problems. These guys all were caught up in accidents in one way or another. Tyler Reddick even flipped his car. How often do you see cars flip at Las Vegas? Apparently it's only happened 3 times on the track's relatively short history, but Tyler Reddick flipped the car. And now you have a situation where he is at risk of missing the championship 4 despite winning the regular season championship. And apparently that's been a curse. You win the regular season championship, it ends up sometimes cursing you. So will be interesting to see how Homestead goes around, because that cut line, I'd be sweating bullets if I was some of those guys, especially Chase Elliott, especially Tyler Reddick, guys who have had incredible regular seasons that are now at risk of having their season end perhaps one race too short. And then the Xfinity Series was also at Las Vegas over the course of this weekend, and it was a great race, another great, fantastic Xfinity race. Day to night race, big fan of those. I miss those. I wish that they would make a comeback in modern NASCAR. We used to have a ton of them when I was growing up, and then we just kind of got rid of them. Don't really know why. But it was a good race, fantastic race. Then we had a run to the finish there between Ryan Sieg and AJ Allmendinger, and it looked like Ryan Sieg had the tire advantage, and he did. He had the tire advantage. He had all this. He basically had the race won. And then, as is NASCAR quintessential NASCAR fashion, late race yellow. Sammy Smith has a problem. Caution comes out. Reset the field, going to overtime. AJ Allmendinger wins, and I think this is probably the first time most of the NASCAR fans were not happy about an AJ Allmendinger win. A lot of people are waiting for Ryan Sieg to finally get that monkey off his back, finally get that win. It should have happened earlier this year at Texas. It didn't. He lost it by the length of a fingernail, if that. And now he came again within so close. He came so close for his first career Xfinity Series win, and it's just not meant to be. But AJ Allmendinger, on the other hand, he advances into the championship 4, and this is huge for him because now he doesn't have to worry about the next couple of races. He is free. He's got his win, and he's going to the next round, and I think that he could potentially get it. He could get it done because, look, the guys that are below the cut line, we have Austin Hill, Jesse Love, Sam Mayer, and Sammy Smith. I don't think that those guys are going to be able to overcome their deficits right now. Austin Hill and Jesse Love kind of had problems going in the last couple of races before the round of 8 cutoff, and they're still kind of struggling to recover from that. So I think that they have a legitimate opportunity now. Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, the other 3 guys that are currently in as it stands before Homestead. Be interesting to see how that shakes out. And then finally, the United States Formula One Grand Prix was this weekend. We had a sprint race weekend. Max Verstappen won the sprint race, got valuable points. And let me tell you something. This is the biggest thing we talked about. where was the points gap? What was the points gap going to be after we left this race? I don't think a lot of people really expected the points gap to get bigger, but it did. Verstappen winning the sprint race helped, and then finishing ahead of Lando Norris in the race helped. Now, a lot of people have been talking about the controversy. Did Max push Lando Norris off the track? Yeah, he kind of did. Let's be honest. The dude knows the regulations. He knows what he can and can't get away with. And to be honest with you, until the FIA makes it a rule that you can't push a guy wide in order to pass them, this is going to happen. Verstappen knows the rules. He understands what he can and can't get away with, and of course he's going to keep doing it. Fans can disagree all they want about it, but at the end of the day, he finished third, and now the points lead went from 52 points to 57 points with 5 races left. And this even comes after Ferrari gets a 1-2, and Charles Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz getting that 1-2. I'm just surprised they didn't botch a strategy for once. I was just surprised Ferrari could actually hang on and not botch a strategy. They did. Good for them. And they came out there and they got the win. So ultimately, a very interesting Formula One race weekend that's going to set up as we go into the Mexico City Grand Prix. Depending on how Lando Norris does, we could probably be looking at a close but already decided Formula One World Drivers' Championship. We'll have to see. 5 races left, including this weekend. We'll have to see. All right, guys, we got to take our final break of the show so far, but when we come back, we're going to preview all of this weekend's races. We're going to talk about what we expect to see, and we will take a look at the points as well. So don't go anywhere. This is the Racing Report with Rob Peeters. All right, welcome back to the Racing Report with Rob Peeters, and in our final segment of the show, we're going to be taking a look at all the races that are coming up this weekend. So we've got the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series are all going to be at Homestead Miami Speedway this weekend, and they're all going to be leading into this is the second race of each of those series' respective rounds of 8. So we're going to have 2 races left. It's going to be this weekend, Martinsville. This weekend at Homestead, next weekend at Martinsville, and then in 2 weeks' time we go to the championship round at Phoenix. And looking ahead, right now we already talked about the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, but if we look at the Truck Series right now, it's a little bit more open. And Martinsville could be a little bit of a crapshoot. This might be one of the last opportunities for some of those guys to really get their hands on the trophy and on a chance in their championship 4. So we know Grant Enfinger's already going in, but Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, and Ty Majeski are the 3 drivers that are provisionally in the round of 4, the championship 4. And right now, I think Ty Majeski, being only 5 points to the good of the cut line, is the biggest part to watch here. Because Ty Majeski, I would expect him to do a lot better at Martinsville than he would at Homestead. So the goal here is you're going to want to try, and if you are someone who's on the outside looking in, that would be Raja Carruth, who's 5 points below the cut, and then Taylor Gray, Nick Sanchez, and Tyler Ankrum. All those guys, you're going to want to try and win as much as possible at Homestead this weekend, especially Raja Carruth, because if Raja Carruth can get a win or get enough of a points advantage over Ty Majeski, that's going to be key. Because Ty Majeski, I would argue, probably has the best shot going into Martinsville. He's a beast on short tracks. He's been a beast on short tracks. But at the same time, if that's not the case, and maybe someone like Lane Riggs, who also has been quite good on short tracks, comes out there and wins, now you're looking at Ty Majeski probably sweating a little bit more. So my opinion there is it's going to be an interesting race to watch for the Truck Series. Xfinity Series as well. Looking at that, Justin Allgaier is seated second below Allmendinger. But Chandler Smith, whose future for next year is really kind of unknown at the moment, is only 8 points to the good, while Austin Hill is the 5th place car right now. If I'm Chandler Smith, I'm worried because, let's be honest, he needs a win. He needs a win here badly. And if he can get that win and prevent someone else like a Mayer or a Sammy Smith or Jesse Love or an Austin Hill from getting that win, that's going to be even more important because we've seen Sam Mayer can really get those, walk-off home runs in the bottom of the 9th. He did it at the Roval. I'm pretty sure he stands a chance to do it again. He's won at Homestead before. He could do it again. And I think if you're Chandler Smith, if you're Cole Custer, you want to try and win at Homestead probably more than anybody else. You're not points racing. Justin Allgaier, he can points race. Those other guys, you got to race for the win. And then in the Cup Series, it's a little bit more cut and dry, like we talked about. Just a tad bit more cut and dry, with Logano being that number one seed so far with the win. But then Bell, Larson, and Byron. Those guys are the three that are in. Byron is 27 points to the good over Denny Hamlin, so a lot more of a cushion if you're the fourth place guy going into Homestead here. But again, anything can change. Anything can change at a track like this. And then let's take a look here. Again, going for the Formula One Mexico City Grand Prix. Again, we were talking about that. Only a 57-point gap from between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris going into this race. I'm curious to see how it goes and see if Max's points gap gets a little bit bigger. Because if it does, if Max finishes ahead of Lando again, and that points margin gets a little bit bigger, I think you're going to have to give the title to Verstappen, barring some crazy something crazy that happens where he doesn't finish at least 2 races. I think it's going to be very hard for Lando to make up that gap. And then, so those are the 2 races that had races last week that are coming up. And now let's talk about the couple other races. So we've got the Supercars is coming to the Gold Coast. They're coming this weekend. So again, Supercars Superview, highly recommended. It's about $6 or $7 a month on YouTube. Highly recommend. It allows you to watch all the practice qualifying, all the support sessions, all commercial free for U.S. subscribers, because the Gold Coast 500 is always a thrilling race. And then this is just one little tiny piece that I wanted to talk about is the Mazda MX-5 Cup is running at Martinsville this weekend. If you've ever watched the Mazda MX-5 Cup, you'll know it's probably one of the most fun racing series on the planet. They constantly have exciting and thrilling runs to the finish where drivers are, in pack racing situations on a road course. Just absolutely crazy stuff. Well, they're running at Martinsville this weekend, so if you're in the area, I highly recommend checking that out. And if not, just look for some highlights on the internet, because I promise you they're probably going to be worth watching. So, all right, that is it for everybody. That is it for this week's show. We really appreciate you tuning in. And again, if you like the show, if you want to support it, tell your friends about it. Keep those Tegna viewing numbers up. That's how we know you like it. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe as well if you're watching this on YouTube. And follow me on social media at RPEETERS33. So for Rob Peeters, this is me. I'm wrapping things up here on the Racing Report. We will see you next week. Enjoy the week of racing, everybody.